So thank you everyone for joining us. If you don't know me, my name is Kate Burrows and I am on the board of directors for NCIS. I've been on the board for about 2 years and I am the partner group and or affiliate liaison, and also do some work with junior scholars and recruiting junior scholars into NCIS. And this program I'm really excited about because what we're going to be talking about is different tools that members use in their independent scholarship. And I have to tell you, I had like 4 or 5 tools that I wanted to show, and several people had 4 or 5 they wanted to show, and we had to narrow it because we only have an hour. We had to narrow it down just to 6 tools. So if you like this program and you get something out of it, please let us know and we can expand this out to do this on a regular basis. So just to give you a layout of what we're going to be talking about is Philip is going to be talking about a program called Evernote, Philip Reed, and then I will be talking about Monday or Monday.com. Amanda Hayes will be talking about FocusMate. Sandy Ham will be doing Scrivener. And then lastly, Helen is going to wrap us up with Microsoft Assistance tools. We may have a little bit of extra time for discussion. I will start off the program talking about Monday.com. So in addition to my independent scholarship, I'm also a consultant and an adjunct professor. And so I have a lot of different hats that I'm wearing. I'm also writing a book. And so I needed something, and I was managing everything on my Google Calendar. And my Google Calendar was crazy. It had all of these different colors, and it was staffed from midnight to 1 a.m. And I needed something to manage my days better. And so I did a lot of research into like project management software and task management software. And I tried a couple, and they were all right. But I finally landed on Monday.com. And Monday.com is a project management software that allows with a lot of integration and a lot of collaborative tools. So one of the things I was looking for was a tool that I could use to collaborate with my co-authors so that we could share Zoom meeting links, that we could share documents, that we could share literature, and something, kind of like a meeting hub for my co-authors in addition to managing my own work. So I had a lot of expectations for the program that I was seeking. I was looking for a collaborative platform. I was looking for something to manage my time. I was looking for something to manage my budget. I was also looking for something to remind me to feed the dog. I mean, I was looking for everything. And Monday really does a lot of that. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, so this is Monday.com, and I've set up a demo workspace, and I'll show you some of the features that I added to this demo. And then I will show you my personal Monday account so you can see the extent of what you can do with it. Obviously, I won't go into all of the things that say feed the dog, but I will show you my personal site. But I want to start off with this demo. So the way that it works is that everybody who is in your collaborative team has their own workspace. And then you can also have workspaces like I have, it's called the Genius Gang. One of my groups of collaborators has our own workspace. And so within these workspaces, you can have different boards or different sets of task lists, different sets of dashboards. And they can all link back to your personal workspace. So for example, this Genius Gang workspace has some tasks that are assigned to me that show up in my personal workspace and in this shared workspace. So that's one of the things that I really liked about Monday was, like I said, it's collaborative tools. So starting off here, you can have as many boards as you want, and each board can be something different. You can have boards that manage budgets. You can have boards that manage projects and do Gantt charts. You can have boards that manage tasks. So just to give you an example of some of the things that these boards can do, and they're very comprehensive, they can do so much. But so, for example, you can assign tasks. So again, if you're using the collaborative tools, you can assign tasks to yourself or to other people. You can have statuses. Here's where you can assign values to things. You can obviously set the priorities, but here's one of the things that I liked was the ability to add files. So here, you can actually see that I added this file. But what you can do is you can add any number of you can add any number of Word documents, Excel documents. And so not only is it a way for you to save your own documents into your project, if you have an outline or something that you want to be able to readily access from your board, you can do that. But I've liked this feature the most with my collaborators, is you'll say, here's what I found today, here's what I wrote today, and drop it into the task. And so that's been really useful. And then something that I use a lot of on Monday, and this was actually my deciding factor of why I decided to go with Monday instead of other tools, is the time tracking. So like I said, I'm a consultant. I do my own, I'm an independent scholar, and I also have my own personal work and all of that. And so I wanted to track how much time I was spending on my consulting projects. I wanted to track how much time I was spending teaching. And one reason I wanted to time track is I wanted to identify which consulting projects I were doing were a waste of my time and which were more valuable to my time. So I'll show you more about that later. So this is another demo board. But one of the things that's nice about Monday is they have this dashboard feature where you can link multiple boards to your dashboard. In my personal Monday account, I have about 16 boards. And again, I'll show those to you. And I have them all linked to my dashboard. And so you can do all of this analysis of all of your boards together. So I just dropped some files in here that show you just some different widgets into this dashboard that show you some of the things that this dashboard can do. It can add up all of your money. It can give you, oh, I'm just trying to know what's not showing. This is actually a Gantt chart, a list of all of your files, calendars. But if you see here under add widget, there are so many different widgets you can add, both Monday based widgets as well as third-party widgets that work with Monday. So there's so many analytical tools that you can add, and that's what I like the most about Monday, is that it's very flexible. There's so many different things that you can add to it. If you want to add time zones, you can add time zones. If you want to manage a large team, if you have a large team of co-authors, you can manage a large team. And just to wrap this up, let me just show you my workspace. So you see here, I have all of these boards, and some of them are tracking budgetary things. Some of them are tracking tasks. And I'll just show you my dashboard here. So you can see that I track my time on each kind of work that I do on a weekly basis. My money, my calendar of my deadlines that are coming up, how much time, I'm really interested in how much time I'm spending on different kinds of projects, different time that I'm spending on different books that I'm working on. So this is Monday.com, and what I would like to do is go through everyone in the program so we can make sure everyone has a chance to discuss. So I think, Amanda, it's your turn.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kate. Kate's talked about what she does to manage her time and all her projects. My major problem is, like many of us, if you work from home, is actually getting to your desk. Once I'm there, I'm okay, but getting to my desk I found was a real problem because there are always other things that, seem to be more interesting. So I tried various things. I looked at writing retreats. Trouble is, they're occasional, they're residential, they cost, and I don't have that sort of money, and I have caring responsibilities, so I can't really be away that much. So I kind of gave up on that idea. Then I tried joining writing groups, and this is kind of, you just join an online group and everybody's got their heads down. You might possibly put in the chat, hi, I've just arrived and I'm Amanda, I'm a musicologist, whatever. But mainly nobody looks up from their desks, and I kind of felt invisible. It didn't do anything for me. So then I tried setting up writing sessions with particular colleagues and friends. but it was really difficult to find a time that we could both do. So that didn't work. But what I did find was FocusMate. So this is FocusMate. Now, my profile it's up on the right-hand corner. You can see me with my pretty picture, and I have my profile there. So you can see I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I've got 100% timeliness score, which doesn't always happen. And I've done 427 sessions. Now, the beauty of this is that it is free for up to 3 sessions a week. So I book on the calendar. You just go to the calendar, you decide what you want to book. So say I want to book a session on Monday. I'm actually busy on Monday, but say I wanted to book a session at 7 in the evening, I can just select that, continue to book one session, and it will pair me up with somebody. Okay. Now, I already have my 3 for next week. So my upcoming sessions will be these ones. So those are the dates and the times I've got booked at the moment. I tend to do for a week ahead. And these are the people I'm paired with. What happens when you join a session is that they open about 10 minutes before the time, and you join in and you say hi to the one other person that you're working with. Right, so you join the group, just 2 of you, and you say hi, compare notes, say what are you working on, and then you get down to, you can either be muted or not muted, whatever your preference is. And you do the 50 minutes, there's a little buzzer that goes at the end of the 50 minutes, and then you turn your sound on again and you say, how did you do? I did this, that, and the other. And it's really personal. And I really, really like it. I actually made quite good, I say friends, but of course we never met. People that over the last few years, they've seen me through writing and publishing my monograph. I've seen them through writing and submitting a thesis. So you get a whole history, which is rather nice. You can now have sessions that are 25 minutes up here, 50 minutes, or 75 minutes. I like the 50 minutes. I find once I'm at my desk, I'm there and I will be in the zone. So I recommend FocusMate. No, I'm not being paid for it. I'm just a keen user. So focusmate.com, and you will find it, and I can recommend it for getting to your desk. Okay, thank you. That's me.
Thank you, Amanda. That was really, I'm definitely going to be looking at that. And I believe, Sandy, you're up next to talk about Scrivener.
Okay, thank you. So the tool that I found that I really like is Scrivener. So Scrivener is a word processor that was designed for writing lengthy manuscripts that makes it easy to figure out or change your drafts. So I'm not one of those people who can make an outline and then just fill it in from start to finish, but I think of ideas for the beginning, the middle, and the end out of order and at all strange times of day and night. So I like something that I can use to play with ideas and organize them without losing my ideas. And this does things that Word doesn't do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a 2-minute video.
Typewriter, ring binder, scrapbook. Scrivener combines all the writing tools you need to craft your first draft. And you can take your writing with you wherever you go by syncing between your Mac, Windows, and iOS devices. Writing a long document involves much more than just getting words onto the page. Scrivener is tailor-made for creating lengthy manuscripts, banishing page fright by allowing you to compose your text in any order, in sections as large or small as you like. Got a great idea but don't know where it fits? Write when inspiration strikes and find its place later, growing your manuscript organically, idea by idea. With Scrivener, you can switch between your text and an overview in no time. Add a synopsis to your chapter or section, then zoom out and view just the synopsis to work with an outline of your manuscript. Want to change the order of things? In Scrivener, turning Chapter 2 into Chapter 4 is as simple as drag and drop. Scrivener's flexibility means that you can hammer out a first draft and restructure afterwards, or plan everything first by creating a synopsis and filling in the text later.
So this is what Scrivener looks like. It is a word processor, so up in the top, it deals with projects, not with files. So, comparing this with Word. And it has a compile function. So compile is the way to export what you do in Scrivener into Word or RTF or any other software. It has edit, insert, view, navigate, project with project settings. You can make targets for word count, and you can also make targets for your timing and say you want to write 200 words a day. Scrivener is at literatureandlatte.com, so it has a coffee shop theme, which is really nice, really cool. And what it does is it puts your projects are binders. So it's like having a 3-ring binder. So here is the binder, and the binder, this is my chapter for the Independent Scholars Guide. So what I did is I wrote this in small pieces. Just a few notes is that this is really good for drafts, but not for final versions. So to get a final version of a document, it's really better to compile it, send it off to Word, and then that is where you would use Zotero or EndNote, and then add your tables and figures and do your text formatting. Okay, so there we go. Thank you.
So thank you, Sandy. That was really interesting. And now I believe that Linda, you're up talking about qualitative data analysis.
What I wanted to talk about was choosing qualitative data analysis software. I'm just wondering how many of us here are qualitative researchers rather than quantitative. Hands up for qualitative. Hey, we're not alone. Thank you. All right. My problem started during my PhD when, like all of us, I thought I was going to solve the problems of the world with my thesis. And of course, I was going to do mixed methods. I was going to do qualitative, and I was going to do a survey. I would be a statistical wizard. So I was looking for software that would enable me to do both quant and qual analysis. And I used something called Deduce, which was fine, but didn't quite solve my problems. Anyway, upshot was I became a qualitative researcher in the end. And when I became an independent researcher after I got my PhD, I realized that the main programs of qualitative research are things like NVivo, which are available through the university where I'm affiliated, have a honorary role. But I had this feeling at the back of my mind, what happened if the university took me out or didn't renew my honorary position? So I thought, and then I looked at the price of buying on NVivo, and I think that the minimum option for a single use is now $1,250. Oh, it was horrendous. Yeah, so that put me off straight away. And from what I could see, I don't think I was looking for all the bells and the whistles that NVivo was offering. So I did a bit of searching, and eventually I came across something called Quirkos.com. And I'll put the link in the chat. And what I like about Quirkos, it's cheap. When I bought it in 2016, it was $240. That's for an offline license. Since then, they offer an online version where you can collaborate with others, and you can buy a lifetime license for it's much cheaper. But the thing is, I get the updates. The support is enormous. And when, like we inevitably do, have to move to a new laptop or new computer, obviously you need a new license key to install. I almost get an instantaneous reply with a new license key, so it's great. And it's fairly intuitive to learn. And the thing about it is not a substitute, and this is the thing with all QDA things. It's not a substitute for you thinking. It's just a tool. It's not something, qualitative data analysis is not something you can whiz through. It takes time. You need space to think and reflect on what's coming out. But it's better for handling the software, this kind of software, it's better for handling larger volumes of data. If you only have a few interviews or one focus group, it is possible to analyze qualitative data using pen and paper, Excel. There are lots of guides on how to. And when I've looked at these, they seem quite complicated because you have to do a lot of formatting and things in Excel. And knowing me, I'd put the semicolon, which is supposed to code something, in the wrong place. So I decided against that. I have used the comments function in Word as a way to code documents before now. And there is a thing on a website, I think it's called DocuTools, that will sort codes into, it will group them. So if you've used a particular code and you put that in a comment, it will put all those comments with those codes in one place for you, reorder them. So that's very useful. But Quirkos is something I keep coming back to. I used it for research back in 2016, and I will be using it on a current research project now. It's something I feel comfortable with. And the thing I like about it, the fact I can use it on my laptop offline, means I have control of the data. There's just something about using these tools online which just makes me feel slightly wary about security and GDPR and ethics and things, who can access the data. So to protect my participants, I prefer to do my data analysis on my own technology. Now, there are some resources that you can use when you want to look for qualitative data analysis software. There's Kevin's, Wakewaite's splendid chapter in the NSYS IS Guide for Independent Scholars, which is brilliant and has loads of tips and resources, and even includes links to there are some open source software for qualitative data analysis, which are good, but I think they need to, probably the learning curve is steeper. And there is also something at University of Surrey. Hang on, let me just get it and I'll put it in the chat, which is an amazing resource. It has a lot of, does reviews of, hang on. I'm just getting it up now. And for me, this is apart from Kevin's chapter, this is the best starting place to look at reviews of individual packages, the pros and cons. I mean, to me, it's one of the best. And the person who runs this centre at Surrey, actually Christina Silva, is actually running quite a few courses at the moment around in different places. But I would say if you're looking for qualitative data analysis and you want to see what's out there, go to Kevin's chapter in the IS Guide, or start with this, the University of Surrey's resource. And they will also give you an idea, and these reviews are continually updated, so they keep up with the latest version. But for me, having the software to hand saves me a lot of time. Well, it doesn't save me time, but it detaches me from the data as well in some way. But it also gives me a way. And the other thing is, obviously, you can download reports. They'll group the quotes together in your particular themes you're using the codes. And for me, it helps me in the process of analysing my data. Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
Thank you so much. That was really interesting. Thanks, Linda. I'm a Deduce user myself, and so I'm going to check into Quirkos. And so Philip has joined us, and so he'll go after Helen, but Helen is next talking about Microsoft accessibility features. Thank you. Go ahead, Helen.
My professional work is I pay the bills for the most part with dyslexia and dyscalculia assessments. So my understanding is that a comparable role in the States is an educational diagnostician, which is like the most ridiculous mouthful in the world. Here I'm just known as a specialist assessor. It's kind of a halfway house between a teacher and an educational psychologist. I'm dyslexic, which is why I do it. And basically all my research is kind of born out of me being a bit of a spanner at reading as well. A spanner, sorry, not very good at reading. So I got really fed up during my PhD of just like reading, basically. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I know one is supposed to love it. I do not. So I was like, after something, anything, for the love of God, that means I don't have to lose my place, read things 11 billion times, and then have to read it again once I'd forgotten what it was all about because I'd gone the loo, or like just forgotten what I'd read. Particularly when reading English, I find if I'm reading French or Spanish or German, I read better because I know I have to read everything somehow. And I haven't yet worked out how to make Windows speak French or German or Spanish yet. Yet. Maybe in due course. So I got into the whole accessibility thing. And in the last maybe 5 years or so, since Windows, like since Office 365 happened, the developments among the kind of standard offer across the board of Windows has been really quite exciting. It's quite exciting for my inner geek because you can make it read anything you want to you. So I'm gonna try and share my screen. Let's do this. We'll see what happens. So can you see like an orangey snotty brown kind of piece of paper coloured? Right, now for a start, for me, I changed the background colour. I've got various names. We would call it visual stress, perhaps in England, Mears-Erland syndrome, basically wobbly words. So part of addressing that for me is having the capacity to go onto the design tab and go page colour, and I can make it whatever colour I fancy. I tend to use like a green, but I made it snotty brown because it was different and it stands out from all the other windows I have open at the minute. It's brilliant because it just means it reduces that glare, which is really quite, you kind of have like rivers of, it's like the Matrix. Words look like the Matrix when I try and read if it's black and white. It's not a dyslexia thing, but it's a thing that some dyslexic people have. It's to do with how light is processed or something. I don't remember the actual neuroscience, to be honest. So for me, I've got like my little ribbon of thingies. Can you all see my mouse at the top? That I can see Philip Reed nodding, like, thank you, Philip, I appreciate it. So I've got this little ribbon. I added the read aloud thing to my ribbon because then I can just have it click and pray to the gods this works. Make it good. Oh, it was going to.
Is a fully qualified special needs teacher and former Senko, working as an independent educational research.
Did you hear the noise? Right.
Consultant.
I can make it sound like a chipmunk. I shouldn't find that as funny as I do, but I really do. But actually, when I proofread reports, that is just, I do speed it up because I follow what I read, and then if it sounds daft, then it just, because it means that it reads what's actually written instead of what I think I've written, which for a dyslexic person, proofreading is like, ooh. So this just makes my professional work and my, like, all of it's professional, but like my academic stuff. And also even when I send emails, because sometimes allegedly it's English, not always. And the lovely thing about it is you've got it in Excel as well. So all of the Microsoft products, I sound like I'm an advert for Microsoft. I'm genuinely not, because Teams makes me die inside. I hate it. But the accessibility features are good. So it's just really nice. And you've got it in Edge when you open PDFs. And I find when I use Adobe, and I do for some things because some of the print options on Adobe, if you want to make a physical copy, are just a bit less annoying. But if I'm using, I had my PhD open. If I have to be very careful what I show you because I've got a couple of things related to a report open at the moment that I've been working on, and I can't share a child's educational progress with people on the internet. It is not ideal. So the nice thing about Microsoft Edge as well versus the old one, what's it called? Internet Explorer. Edge actually has the read aloud function as well. So like, here's the acknowledgements bit of my PhD. If you go along somewhere, there it is, you can find the read aloud and it reads it to you. She says, hopefully, play nicely. Oh, I've got the flashy bit and it says no. So your computer says no. Normally, when it's playing nicely, it reads stuff out to you. For me, that's just the most powerful tool. And one of the other, and again, I'm going to go back to Microsoft Word. I'm having a bit of a moment sharing the screen. Bear with me. Right. There is, and this is, I don't particularly get on with this function, but it's a really powerful function. And it's the like voice typing function. So you can just type in voice typing, office dictation, and hopefully it will write everything I say it. It even speaks slangy British English, and it can make sense of me. There you go. Oh, I'm just going to stop that so it doesn't do weird stuff. So for me, these accessibility features, from the kind of dyslexic bod trying to pretend to be a clever grown-up and know what they're doing, they're brilliant. And the lovely thing is, they are available in other operating systems. I'm not an Apple household. My dad worked at IBM as a child. I don't really do Apple, probably because of my dad issues. But the Apple features, people that use Apple, one of my students I teach, he's 15, he's so dyslexic. He's got an iPad, he loves it. He just raves about it. Google has also got fantastic accessibility features. So if you work on kind of the online Google Docs, you can speak to it, it will speak to you. You can change the screen colors, you can change the font size. And this is just little things, little tweaks that are we call them reasonable adjustments. Oh, in America, they're called accommodations, I think, with the Americans with Disabilities Act. So they're easy. And if you're working with people, they're cheap because they're built in. So professionally, from an organizational perspective, they're dead good. Dorothy's asked me, does Edge read PDFs for you? There's speech. Yes, it does read PDFs for you. There's also naturalreaders.com, Dorothy, that reads stuff as well. That does cost if you read over a certain amount, and there's like limitations, but yeah, Edge reads them. It's dead good. You can also open a PDF in Word. It messes the formatting, but you can do. So yeah, loving it. It's made my life a bajillion times easier. I'll stop talking now and let you have some
Thank you, Helen. Great. And then we're going to wrap up with Philip Reed.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about how I use Evernote, which is a commercial multi-purpose note-taking software. And it can be used for anything. You can use it for your recipe collection. You can use it for keeping up with your tools or your whatever. It's designed to be multi-purpose. It's also designed to be easy to use and intuitive. And of course, that's always the rub, right? If they actually pull that part off, where it's actually easy enough to use that you spend more time doing your work than you do figuring out how to use the silly app. I would say I've been using this since 2013. I've written a dissertation, 2 books, and 10 or 11 journal articles with it. And beyond that, I just keep up with all of my notes that might have something to do with work someday in this thing. I found it helpful. And so I'll just go through how I use it with the disclaimer that there are many different ways to use it, and it can do a lot more than I do with it. So I'm not by any means going to be giving you a comprehensive overview of this software. I'm just going to talk about how I've used it. It is not free. I have what they call a personal account, which is $130 a year. There's also a professional tier, but I don't see any need for that for what I do. And I've got 11 years worth of research notes in here. They give me, with my plan, up to 10 gig a month of data on the cloud. I'm never going to come close to that. I'm not storing videos on here. I'm storing images and words. So it's not, I don't need anything more than that. The cloud-based part is what makes it so useful, because it pretty much seamlessly works across devices, and that really helps. For example, if I'm in an archive, I'm taking notes on a tablet, but I can also take photographs with my phone inside the app, and they instantly appear on the tablet because it's like duplicated. So I can incorporate notes into photographs into notes, and it looks like this. The images are super high resolution, and that's actually in a lot of cases better than the original because, come on thing, open up, don't hang up on me. Because you can zoom in on it. So, obviously if you're reading something out of a diary or out of a account book or whatever, you can't make it any bigger than it is. But with this, you actually can't. You can make it a lot bigger than it is. And of course, you're limited by the resolution of the original document, but you can open images in here by double clicking on them, and everything's taking forever for some reason on this. So we'll see if it actually does it. It'll open it in a new window. So this is good if you really want to zoom in on a particularly difficult piece of handwriting or a detail. And I'm just using my mouse wheel to blow this up. This map is not very good resolution because it's out of a paper journal, but I will show you what it looks like from. I'll show you what it looks like if I can from with some handwriting. Got to figure out how to get rid of this banner. I need to get rid of this banner.
And just interrupt you for a minute.
There we
Philip.
go.
We have about 5 minutes left.
Yep.
But if everyone is comfortable staying because of the bombing situation that we had, if everyone doesn't mind staying a few extra minutes, we can let Philip finish up.
That would be cool. All right, I'm going to close this and hopefully we'll close everything. Yeah, okay. So I'll close that image there. It has built-in photo and scan capability. It's instant capture. So whether you're working in an archive, as I mentioned, or whether you're working in a library with restricted circulation materials that you can't check out, or whether you've borrowed something from interlibrary loan that you have to return, it's really useful because, for example, if I don't have time, or I think I'm going to need a lot out of a few pages of a book, I'll just photograph them right into the software, and then I can go back at my leisure and read them, and the page numbers are there, and whatever illustrations I want are there. So that really helps. I'm going to go over the very basic structure of this, and so you can just kind of get an idea of how it works and whether it might or might not be useful to you. And then if I have time, I'll open up another image and just show you how this works. So the basic unit or the basic subdivision in Evernote is called a notebook. And from my experience, a notebook should be per project or cover a wider subject area. So let's see, here are my notebooks over here. So for example, I would have a notebook for both basic large subjects. As you can see, these are pretty general within what I do, but I'll also have a notebook for any book I'm doing or book project that I'm working on, something that big. I'll have a notebook for that. After notebooks, there are tags, T-A-G-S, and tags just make it easy to search for like smaller points of reference. So my tags are over here in this left column, 16th century. The other thing I do with tags is any publication that I'm taking notes out of, I'll make a tag for that. So, Smith, broomsticks of the 17th century, I'll make a tag for that. That way, if I want to pull up every note I took out of that book, all I have to do is go to that tag and pull up all the notes on that tag, and it pulls it up for me. I can do keyword search. I can do anything and find a group of notes very quickly, even across notebooks, across subject areas. That's not a problem at all. Let's see. I think I want to, if I can make it do it, I wanted to show you. I'm not going to go through the process of taking my phone and taking a photo because you can't see me do it. Just trust me that it will do it. And it's really, they've actually tweaked that more in recent years where it works more seamlessly than it used to, in my experience. So there should be a notebook in here called Sultana Docs. Let's see. No, that's a tag. Go back to home. Go back to home. There we go. Nope, it's not what I want. Let me minimize tags. No, I can't find it right now. This is a regular text note. So you put your bibliographical information in here so that that's there. You don't have to look it up somewhere else. There we go. All right, this is the last thing I'll do. If I can find this. There we go. So when I was in the archives doing work on my last book, this is how I did it. You'll see a combination here of text notes that I'm taking as I'm reading, but I'm also photographing every page of the actual document, putting the dates on there so I can refer back to them later. And then anytime I want to really, this is all stuff I have to transcribe. So anytime I really want to dig in there and try to figure out what these squiggles are, I can just zoom in way in on this, make it huge, and it's maintains the resolution. So it's a lot easier for me to transcribe out of the images than it would be out of the original document because it's so much bigger. So I get way less eye strain by doing it that way. So that's my basic, super basic rundown of Evernote for research. If anybody has any questions about it, I'd be happy to take a stab at them.
Thanks, Philip. And thank you to the presenters. So thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate the participation and the turnout.
See y'all
Thank you
then.
very much. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Take care.